All right, thanks for tuning in to Bloomberg Quint. It's an interesting AGM that Reliance Industries has had. They've introduced a new smartphone, a smartphone foray, much on expected lines, but the deals that are around that foray are fairly interesting. The company has also announced a 1:1 bonus. To analyze this in and give a complete perspective, not just from a perspective of what it means for a shareholder, which is of course the main crux of this conversation, but also try and give you a detail about how it could impact lives of other players surrounding this ecosphere of sorts. With me, Somit Sarkar from our research desk, and of course Sajit Mangat, our national news editor, joins us from on location. Good afternoon, Sajit. Now, you were present outside or at the AGM as well. First give us a sense of what did you make of all of this? I mean, I think we heard a lot of cheering out there. Never before I've seen an AGM wherein people were clapping their hands and shouting Jio, Jio. So a lot of fanfare out there in the AGM from shareholders. But what did you make of it?
That's true. In the 10 odd years I've been covering Reliance AGMs, it was one of the most noisiest AGM, and we saw the profile of the shareholders also getting younger in this AGM there. But what is more important to note is that we were expecting feature phone announcement from Reliance, and Mukesh Ambani did announce the launch of a feature phone. Well, it was more of a feature phone which has the characteristics of smartphone, and it was well orchestrated with a demo being given by Akash and Isha Ambani at the podium. But what is more important is the kind of announcement with respect to Jio Phone has come in. He's going to give it for free, but there will be a security deposit of for 1,500 rupees for the next 3 years. Over and above that, there are plans of 153 rupees per month, and he's putting weekly and month and fortnightly recharge available on those feature phones, which are ideally today are basically 2G phones in the market. So he's basically tapping into the 50 crore feature phone market. Reliance Jio already has 125 million customers, and the next port of call is to ensure that the feature phone market, which is around 500 million in number, he gets a significant pie of that. Now, what does it mean for the existing telcos? It's going to be a very tough task for them to hold on to this category, because so far the argument made by some of the telcos is that there's a smartphone market where LTE works is a small proportion of the total subscriber base for them. So even though the prices have come down in the smartphone or LTE data, it's not going to impact the 2G market. Now the 2G market is going to be impacted, and that's where the dent is going to come in for many of the telecom players like Bharti, Idea, Vodafone. Some of the marginal players are already losing a lot of customers to Jio, like Reliance Communication, ASL. Telenor has a lot of Telenor customers have already shifted to Jio network already. So it's going to be a hit on the bread and butter for a lot of incumbent telecom players.
Now, let's put it in perspective, and Sajid, feel free to come in whenever you want to, but I'm just getting Somit in the discussion as well, our numbers man for Reliance. Mind you, it was not just Reliance, which is of course trading higher today based on the back of the numbers that came out yesterday, not necessarily a result of the AGM, but as a result of the AGM, Somit, we did see telcos go down. I think even the dish companies, the likes of Sun TV, Dish TV and a few others also came off. Now, firstly, let's look at it from a Reliance perspective. Any numbers that came to your mind as a result of the AGM, not necessarily just the results?
See, the key numbers that came in was, the very first thing was that the phone is available for free, but then there will be a deposit of 1,500. The second key number was the plan. The 153 rupees plan per month is very low, is at a very cheap price. Now, if the current plans also, what they are saying, that they have around 100 million paying customers, and most of them are in that 309 plan or more plans. Now, these customers can shift to this 153 plan because they're getting the same data, and voice is always free, and the unlimited data also at the 153 plan. It's just that they have to buy this new phone, and they'll get the 309 plan at 153. So that shift will also come in Reliance Industries. industries. And I also spoke to few analysts, and they suggested that this will also increase Reliance Industries, Reliance Jio's market share in the telecom business. Now, market share is the key thing in this scenario in the telecom industry, because even Bharti Airtel pointed out that their focus in the market will be to gain the market share and not to drive revenues going forward. It's first market share, revenues will follow the market share.
100 million subscribers, that's a ready
100
market.
million paying customers.
100 million paying customers, excuse me, yes, I stand corrected. And that's a ready market available for Jio as well. Sajid, I want to approach it from a perspective of, what it means for telcos, as you said, right? Now, here's the deal. When Reliance first made the noise about the free services for 6 months, so on and so forth, I remember Bharti Airtel, Idea, all of them took a big knock. Bharti Airtel, I think, went sub 300 rupees at that point of time as well. Since then, 6 months, 9 months into this whole foray, it's not that things have been terribly bad for these companies, fundamentally too from a stock price perspective as well. Can that change?
That can change a lot. Look at the kind of offering which is going to happen. The test trials or the friendly trials for this Jio phone will start on August 15th. You can start pre-booking from August 24th onwards, and from September onwards is when they're trying to roll out the Jio phone. They're expecting 5 million Jio phones a day, that's the announcement came out with. Now you have roughly around 3 months here where telcos have time to come back with a strategy here. That 3 months they will have to ensure that they protect this 2G base, which is largely a prepaid base. And it's giving them a lot of voice revenues there. Now what Jio has done is free voice revenue for this Jio phone customers, and data as well, unlimited data. Provided they take a monthly of 153, and if they want to connect it to a TV, then you go and take a 309 rupee package per month. Again, this is a data strategy where the incumbent telcos who are earning a lot of revenues from voice will be hit very badly there. Especially because currently the voice impact was only limited to the smartphone user, and the incumbent telecom operators had made voice free for many of the smartphone users. Now they will have to look at the strategy of giving voice free for the 2G phone user as well, because that's a user now who will start migrating. So you're going to see a lot of migration happening on a prepaid level. Now, one important thing which we need to look at is that even though Jio has 125 million customers, over a period of last few months, we've seen porting, not many port away from the incumbent to Jio, especially in the
now?
metro and A market. And in B and C market, where you have a lot of 2G customers, you may see that happening, because these are prepaid customers and they will easily move out with the phone with the 1,500 rupees, which is refundable after 3 years.
Yeah,
so
that's a valid point.
It's going to hit them very badly, and they would have to look at it with a strategy to ensure that they retain these prepaid customers. Every telco has nearly 90% of the customer subscribers as prepaid. So it moves away very fast with offers like this. The only question is, will they be able to do 1,500 pay 1,500 rupees and go into the network, or now we'll see the next step where Jio will start financing this 1,500 as well.
Yeah, that's a good one. And remember, it's a bit of a throwback as well. I remember, X number of years back, when they first made that foray, a nice looking but a cheap phone, like available at a low cost with a lot of services bundled in, a lot of things that were new out there. It did well for a while. I was a subscriber as well, but somehow a lot of NPAs then mounted for Reliance. Let's see if that changes. We'll also hear out what the management has to say about this. They've also announced a bonus, but let's just hear out a couple of slicings from the AGM, and then we get in Sumit to talk about the numbers, maybe get in a final thought from Sajid as well as to what else stood out of the AGM. But let's first hear out what the management had to say.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce India Ka intelligent smartphone, presenting the Jio Phone. You may want to know how much the Jio Phone will cost. Remember that even an entry-level 4G smartphone costs between 3 and 4,500 rupees. Today, I am delighted to announce that the Jio Phone will be available to all Indians for an effective price of rupees 0. Yes, my friends, you have heard it right, for an effective price of rupees 0. The Jio Phone is effectively free for Jio customers. We know that anything free can be potentially misused. To protect against misuse of the free Jio offer, we plan to collect a fully refundable one-time security deposit of rupees 1,500 with every Jio phone.
Well, there, I just repeat though for the benefit of our viewers that this bonus, logically a bonus issue, while it excites shareholders, doesn't really mean anything, because even if you get a 1:1 bonus, the price halves. So just keep that at the back of your mind. The stock is not up because of the AGM. It's up 3.5% or 3% primarily because of the quarterly numbers that came out yesterday. So just make that distinction. Now, very quickly, Somit, Sajid was talking a lot about how this venture will help them tap into segments that they hitherto haven't gone to, the 2G customers, which are a large bulk of telco subscribers, ARPUs, so on and so forth. Tell us about the numbers. What impact could this have on the ARPUs for the other telcos, for Reliance as well?
See, if the blended ARPUs of the other telcos range anywhere between 130 to 160. Now, this might come down significantly if the 2G customers...
Why so?
Because the 2G prepaid, the voice customers, if the voice customers shift to this one, to Reliance Jio's plan, so the major revenue that comes in for them also is from the voice customers, because this prepaid customers and the voice customers account for around 90% of the total subscriber base. So if even 10% of them move to Reliance Jio, then it's a big hit for them. So that will obviously impact them, and the ARPU that Reliance Jio is now targeting with this 153 per month plan is also in the range of what the ARPUs are of the current incumbent players. So Reliance Jio's strategy towards Reliance Industries' strategy towards making Reliance Jio a sustainable business is also right, because the ARPU levels are according to the industry standards, and their focus is also perfect because they're aiming to gain the market share. Now, they have been trying to gain the market share of this 3G and 4G customers. Now they're targeting the 2G customers. So technically now they are looking at the broader market. Now they are looking into bringing in all the customers that are there, and mainly the 2G customers account for most of the market share in India, and that's where they make most of the money. So that's what is going to come in Reliance books, and that's what they're targeting to bring into Reliance Jio's books now.
You have to admit, the final questions to Somit and Sajid, but you have to admit that what they've done in the last couple of AGMs and the ventures that they've given out have met with success. I mean, even the plans that they unveiled for subscription, they got a bunch of subscribers, and a lot of them have stuck on as well.
Got the subscribers, but we still don't know what are the financials that are coming in.
The numbers. I mean, we
don't know the numbers. It's just an assumption that whatever is telling is right. We are going by that.
Yeah, but let's go with that assumption. And if the management is saying that they have 100 million active subscribers, you probably take that at face value right now. We don't know the numbers as yet, but they've gotten reasonable success on the plans that they've unveiled as of the last one. Maybe this one around as well, they do get it. Sajid, you're in a crowded street. Let me relieve you of that. One final thought from you. Anything else that stood out in the AGM for you?
A couple of things. My guess is that Reliance Jio numbers will not be out soon in any of the financials as we speak. We were expecting that to happen in the first quarter. Now, I don't think it's going to happen till the entire 2G rollout of that happens. So maybe it may get delayed by another year. It's not going to be disclosed till next year. That's my gut feeling here. That till the time the management is confident of the fact that they have achieved the targets they have set out for, they will not reveal the Jio number. So Jio will continue to be capitalized till that time. Now, how does the street take that? We need to see how analysts are going to react to it. There is an analyst meet which is expected in the evening, where they will showcase the Jio phone and they will talk about the Jio numbers, and we need to see whether they will be able to come out with some kind of indication of when Jio numbers will be revealed. And that is the big concern here for the street there. Of course, from a shareholder's perspective, every time the capex cycle comes to an end, Reliance, rewards the shareholders, and that's what I've been telling, and we've been talking about it as well, Neeraj, that there is a possibility of a bonus issue. The bonus issue happened at the AGM, and this was the 5th time in the history of Reliance that they have come out with a bonus issue. A similar action was done by Dhirubhai Ambani some time back in one of the AGMs where the shareholder demanded a bonus, and he impromptu called a board meeting and announced a 1:1 bonus at that time. This time also he did the same thing. While a corporate film on Dhirubhai Ambani was being played out, he did an impromptu board meeting, and he came immediately after the corporate film, he came out and announced a 1:1 bonus. Of course, that will be approved through a postal ballot. It will take up a month or two before the stock goes ex bonus, but it's still a demand which was been asked by some of the shareholders, and many of the old shareholders, they always come and ask for a bonus, and Mukesh Ambani always used to say in the last 4 or 5 years that let the capex cycle come to an end and we will reward shareholders, and that's what he did. So that is a counterbalancing act which has been done in today's AGM. At one end, he was talking of more investment into Jio because now you're going into after 2G, and that means that you're going to give handsets for free. And the other end, you're trying to pacify some of the shareholders, saying that I have given you return in terms of the stock is up more than 40% from year to date. So I'm giving you a bonus as well on and about that, and that would be good enough for you to cheer.
Okay,
Neeraj?
Thanks a lot for that, Sajid. Somit, your last thoughts. 30 seconds. Anything else that stood out for you?
The active subscribers point that you just mentioned, nothing from the AGM thing has been done, but the active subscribers that you just mentioned, I would just tell one thing about that. According to the TRI data which came out last month, it showed that the Reliance Jio's active subscriber base was the lowest in the industry. It was around 75 to 77%, and while the other incumbents have around 90 to 96%. So still there is a long gap up between the active subscriber base that Reliance Jio has to catch up with its peers in this format.
Okay, we'll wait and watch for that. But this was the key takeaways from the AGM of Reliance Industries. Results yesterday, AGM today. The stock is, well, about 70 or 80 points away from its life highs. 1:1 bonus announced as well should keep the stock excited for today's session. Monday is a different story though. Let's wait and watch. For now, Reliance excited. The other telcos and other businesses associated, not so quite. From Somit, Sajid and me and the team that put this piece together, thanks so much for watching.